That was unreal. That was a tremendous clusterfuck. What ended up happening was my phone started updating and it kicked me out of everything. So it might happen again. So fuck it. Hacked by his boyfriend must have walked in. Man, that was a tremendous clusterfuck. Yeah, round two, pretty much. It was the phone started to do massive updates and it fucking kicked me out of everything. I don't connect to the Wi-Fi often because I pay my actual phone bill. A lot of you motherfuckers connect to Wi-Fi to get that free shit. But at the end of the day, the phone just went to shit. But whatever, fuck it. So what I was saying beforehand about the cold air video, that I can't really publish it. The reason I can't publish it is because of experience, right? When I first started working for Lund Racing, I don't know if it's Tony Bolton or one of those guys that nut rides BMR hardcore, but somebody, I forget, one of my fans nut rides BMR so much that their ass cheeks are chafed. So I remember when I started to work for Lund Racing, I had the black Mustang right there, the black Mustang, and the same shit, everyone was doing back in the day was buying the parts that they thought were popular. So I bought myself a set of BMR springs and BMR lower control arms, and thought that was going to be the shit. And the springs not only made noise, like insane amount of clacking and slapping, and I'm like, fuck these. And then the control arms, the bushings split on a couple of launches. So I got rid of it. I said, this is junk shit. And I said so. Now, I wasn't in the industry back then. I was just a regular millwright talking shit in Massachusetts. So then once I got in the industry, people from that company started hitting up people in the industry that I worked for saying, hey, YOLO makes fun of our parts and we'd really like for you to, smack his pee-pee every once in a while. So that's why, I got to be careful as to what I say, because people literally go out of their way instead of hitting me up, because they won't hit me up in person. No way. They'll go, after my work, which is funny as fuck. It's just funny to one of those. It's funny, one of those things where people they hit up your employer instead of hitting you up directly to purposely, get you in trouble, which is the craziest shit. I would never want to get anyone fired from their job. But at the end of the day, in the industry, that's what they do. If they got a problem with you, they don't go after you. They go after your employer, which blows my mind. But anyway, okay, let me start answering some questions and we'll go from there. Paxton or Vortec for Gen 2 Auto? Vortec. Why? Because Vortec uses the rear sheath and it doesn't snap your crank. Could you give me your opinion on the ported 302 intake manifold? Is it worth it? Ported 302 intake manifold. You got to be a little more specific. Have you had any issues with the Whipple throwing wrench light on 18 Mustangs? Yes, the 150 throttle body and the 132. So I'm not 100%, but I believe that Whipple changed throttle body manufacturers and there's been some issues. Now, I personally have an old 132 and I've never had an issue, but only recently has there been an issue, and Whipple's aware. Whipple has been made aware and they're being proactive about it and they're trying to fix the issue, but it's not tune related. The code that comes up is so specific. It's like P2119, which is like return spring code or something like that. It's not necessarily a tune issue. Zach Morris asks, can you guys tune for elevation? I have a ton of E85 here. You got to understand, Zach, elevation doesn't really matter because the MAP sensor, think of the MAP sensor as a couple of things. Actually, think of the MAP, whatever amount of air the MAP sensors that brings in, the tune is scaled for that. So let's say, for instance, a lot of people get a GT500, right? Like a 2013 GT500, and they start off with a 3.0 pulley. And then they're like, hey, I'm gonna pulley down with 2.8. I'm like, okay, put it on. Well, don't you need to retune for that? Nope. The calibration is scaled, meaning air load is scaled up, and as air load goes up, spark goes down. So I think we scale it up to like 2.0 load, which is about a 2.4 pulley, And unless it goes way past that, like a Kenny Bell 4.2 or turbo setups, we'll bring the load scaler up to like, 2.2, 2.4. I've seen some GT500s flow or have like 2.7, 2.8 load. I think Senior's GT500 was like 2.6, which is, it's moving a shitload of air. So we can elevation doesn't matter to us. It's the map sensor is just going to see less air, and we can dial you in for that. Understand though, if you were to say, Zachary Morris, if you were to say, hey, I want you to send it in elevation, I want you to give me all the timing, everything, and we do that, and then you drive that car down to sea level, you're going to see all that spark with a lot more air available. So be mindful of that. I tested Michael Schaefer. Shit, let me go up here. Michael Schaefer said something interesting. I think he said something interesting. Let me see. Dakota, where's Michael Schaefer? I tested my stock cold air intake versus a popular cold air, both hood closed, same engine temp. The popular cold air made 10 wheel horsepower than the hood closed. The problem on the street is my IAT skyrockets. Exactly. The popular cold air intake made 10 more horsepower with the hood closed. Now, I tested an 18 cold air. The 18 cold air is bigger and does really well. So I get what you're saying, Michael Schaefer. The problem on the street is what's going to happen is idle the stock cold air for 10 minutes, then do your pull, then idle the aftermarket cold air, then do your pull. What's going to happen is the aftermarket cold air is going to be 130 IAT, and you're not going to see as much power unless you're actually have a massive fan in front of it pushing a lot of air, and it's going to be real difficult to duplicate those kind of conditions. Swifty says, I recently got a 2011 GT500. What are some of the things I should do? 2011 GT500, the first thing honestly you should do is look for an upgraded supercharger like a TVS from 2013, 2014. That alone is going to give you the biggest kick in the ass. It's going to cost you maybe $1,400, and it's a direct bolt-on piece, and you have a TVS. You have a 2.3 TVS right then and there. That's the first thing you should do. And then after that, you want to start thinking about long tube headers or pulley down and bigger injectors like 52-pound injectors or 1,000 cc, a boosted pump, and should be able to make 650 rear wheel horsepower with some exhaust modifications pretty easily on pump gas. IAT will go to 150 on the E85R tune with the JLT at idle. Yep, that's about right. And it's not the tune that's causing the issue. The E85 doesn't matter. Whether IAT is IAT, it doesn't matter if it's pump gas or E85. Wonder Woman or John Wick? Wonder Woman. I'm straight. Hell Horse Performance hand-ported Boss 302 intake manifold. I would install this in a 2014 GT. Yeah, I mean, the ported intake manifolds are worth about 5 to 8 horsepower, depending on who you talk to. And sometimes you might be able to see 10, but you got to determine whether that's something you think is worth doing or not. I personally wouldn't port an intake based on cost, but there's great people out there that do it, like Jason Teixeira and Brett Barber. So if you want to send them your intake and have them port it for a couple $100 and have like 8 rear wheel horsepower more or 10, it's worth it. All the guys are saying Whipple's not being helpful with the problem. I had to buy a 132 millimeter. Shit was crazy. Yeah, Divyesh Patel or Patel Divyesh. You got to understand, man. Just because it's a massive throttle body doesn't mean it's going to drive like stock, and you're going to have issues because you got to control that blade, and then if the return spring is tight, then there's nothing we can do as tuners. I can't make a car fail safe and then throw a spring code. Now, even if the data is way far off, understand, even if the data is way far off, the car will still run and drive and not fail safe unless your torque tables are way out of whack. That's usually when it fails, when it tries to reach a certain torque value and it doesn't because your torque tables are all way fucked up. That's when it fail safes. But if your torque tables are dialed in and your throttle data is off, it'll just drive really shitty, not necessarily fail safe. How's the Fairmont coming along? Good. I ended up, Jake and I started making the cold air intake today. We're not going to use the Edelbrock throttle body. I have an Edelbrock 103 millimeter throttle body available, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use something else. You blacked out on the stalling problem on D-cell. After installing LU-47s for E54, Cobra Jet, PMAS, BBK? Okay, what BBK? BBK for PMAS? I think that's probably where your problem is. If you have a Cobra Jet intake manifold and you have a BBK what? Throttle body? Get that shit out of there and put a stock GT500 throttle body on there and watch it be fine. That's probably the only variable. Okay, still can't get the Mustang inspected. Help Alex. Okay, you got to understand, man, on inspection, if you don't have all your shit installed, there's nothing tuners can do for you. Because if you have all of your emissions equipment installed, then you have to pass inspection in your state. It is up to you to make it pass. It's not up to us to make it pass. Return it to stock if you have to. It's really not up to us to make your car pass in a state. We leave all the sensors on. We turn all the monitors on. And if you don't have your CATs and if you don't have your emissions equipment, it's really not our deal. Long tube. Is there a trans tune in the E85 tune? Is there a trans tune in the E85 tune for 10R80? I don't even understand that question. Will E85 be worth it? NA 2014 Mustang GT? Absolutely. 18 Whippled F-150 long tubes or kitty delete? If you can delete the cats, that's fine. Long tubes boosted do make a big difference. NA, not as much of a difference. Top mount turbo kit, top mount or bottom mount, and why? Either. I've seen both make a ton of power. Top mount looks great, and people love how it looks. I've seen some On3 top mount kits make a ton of power. So it's really I think it's whether you want to see your turbos or not, in my opinion, because they're both going to make good power depending on the turbo size. Was the Midnight Performance 8.6 quarter mile Mustang an actual sealed motor, or did it have some work done? There is some debate on this. There is no fucking debate. That thing was stock as fuck. I mean, stock. I know there's haters out there that are going to say, that it's a built motor. No, not a built motor. That car was gapping people on a stock motor. And it still, I think, holds a stock motor record. Now, recently, he went built, and we'll see what it does then. So I have to put the Impala SS. If you don't have cats and you want to pass in your state, guess what? You got to put cats on it. I mean, because think about it. If you don't have cats and you're expecting us to make your car pass inspection, that's just a whole bunch of red flags, and we don't want nothing to do with that. We do not make your car pass inspection without all of your emissions equipment installed. That's just not what we do. Boost a 2013 Boss 302 or go 11 to 12 GT500. Boost the 13 Boss 302. Hell fucking yeah. How often do you guys change your oil? I change it 3 to 5,000 mile intervals, depending on how hard I drove it in those intervals. If I really beat the shit out of the car a lot during those 3 to 5,000 miles, I'll change it on closer to the 3,000 side. But if I just kind of did a lot of highway driving and shit, I'll wait till 5,000. Someone said pay $100 and get a hot sticker. Hey. Yeah, and Paul, I love you, man, but we really can't be holding the bag when it comes to that. We can only do so much as calibrators, and we really don't want to have any red flags or anyone look at us kind of funky. So we want to make sure we stay legal. We want to stay in the business. We want to stay in the business tuning you guys, so we can't be doing some crazy shit. Long tube headers versus cat delete on an NA application. That's an interesting question. In my opinion, I don't think long tubes are worth it in a naturally aspirated application unless you're going max effort. Max effort meaning, yeah, you want to send that shit and you want to go, really get after it and get every single horsepower. But, long tubes are going to be over $1,000, whereas cat deletes are going to be $300 to $400. What's up with the date you went on? Things working out? Yeah. Things were pretty well. Thank you for asking. That guy really follows the channel. Whipple or VMP for an auto 2015. Now, both make good power. The Whipple Gen 3, in my opinion, is very good. If you're talking like Gen 2R versus Gen 2, I would go with a Gen 2R. If you're going with a Gen 3 Whipple versus a Gen 3 TVS, then, I mean, both are going to do real good. I've seen the Gen 3 Whipple make close to 700 on pump gas pretty easily, depending on how sweet the fuel is. But the VMP 2650 is a whole nother animal. So Yeah, you're gonna have. I think you're okay either way, depending on how much boost and what gas you're gonna run. If you're gonna run E85 max effort, you want a lot of torque down low. The TVS is the way to go, but the Whipple makes a ton up top. A lot of people go Whipple because it's a little softer down low, and you could actually control wheel spin a little easier based on the rotor design. But at the end of the day, I want power now. I love the TVS setup. You should add another one to that mix. How about a Edelbrock 2650? You can, I think they're all on par. Whipple Gen 3, even a Whipple Gen 5 versus VMP 2650 versus a Edelbrock 2650. Only reason I say that is because Brian Devilbliss's car runs low nines with a basic bitch stage 2 kit from Edelbrock with a stock cold air and a 103 millimeter throttle body. Imagine if you ported that guy. Imagine if you put a bigger throttle body like I'm doing. What that thing is capable of. But the Whipple and V and P setups do real good. Oh no, people are paying money. That's weird. Oh, you're just giving money? No question? Okay, thanks. Crazy times we live in when stock engine cars can run 8s on the quarter mile with boost. Killian Bibbs, you're 100% right. A lot of people out there complain that it's very expensive to build a Ford, right? You build the Ford Mustang for shit. Turbo kit's going to be 8 to 9 grand. Fuel system another 2,500. Built trans 4,000. But this motor is stock. The motor long block is stock. Boost built trans in E85. It is an 8-second car at full weight. It is pretty unbelievable. Did my tank drain tune? Fuel is low enough that it won't start, but car still reads 62 miles to empty. Michael Charlton, yeah, you're going to have that variable. So I wouldn't really stress it so much. But what if the car won't start while you're cranking it and it still reads 62 to empty? Fill it up with your next fuel. When the level sender comes back up, it'll recalculate everything that's in there. Funny thing is, even based on stoic, it kind of recalculates. Funny. Someone said Whipple Gen 4. Yeah, Whipple Gen 4 is good. They got another. I mean, it's like Gen 1, Gen 86, Gen 10,000. They have a lot of different generation rotor packs. Can you run C85 if you're tuned for an E85? So C85 is a stoic of 9.2. E85 has a stoichiometric air fuel value of 9.85. If anything, you're going to be a little leaner on C85 because the lower the number, yes. So you're going to be a little leaner on E85, on C80. If you're tuned for E85 and you have C85 in it, you're going to be a little leaner. Okay. Whipple Gen 4, S trim. Coyotes getting cheaper. They are getting cheaper. Gen 1 Coyotes, though. But Gen 1 Coyotes, you're literally limited to about 700 rear wheel horsepower, and then you're done. S trim, Joe Martin. S trim in the B303. That's an old school Fox body guy. I love it. Pipes off-road X pipe is on point. Sure. Are BMR parts junk? I don't think that BMR parts are junk. I think the way they kind of go about shit isn't my favorite, but their parts aren't junk because there's a lot of fast cars with a lot of fast shit. I think it's how you use the parts. I personally don't like any of the parts because I think there's better stuff out there that comes with less drama. Let's just say that. Team Z is badass. UPR has great shit. Oh, UMI? Is it UMI or OMI? I think it's UMI, the red one that BMR copied. That one. And Maximum Motorsports makes badass shit. So I can't really, you can go fast with anything. It really doesn't matter. Did you boost to 2019 yet? No, that'll be next week. Donnie is going to help me boost that car because he's available. So I'm going to lean on Donnie a little bit. He's done the install before and he hasn't really worked on the Mustang in a little bit after now working at a Bentley dealership. So I'm hoping he's going to give me a hand, but he's got some family stuff that he has some responsibilities. So I respect that. So I'm not going to, pull him away from his family to put a supercharger in my car. 98 Snake Horse says, I could use another white DBT shirt. 98 Snake Horse, PM me somehow, not here, and I'll see if I can get you a shirt. I have way too many. I got to get them out of here. How many E85 tunes do you guys offer? How many E85 tunes do you guys offer? One. I mean, here's your E85 tune. Here you go. Do not think a rev match tune is possible. No, for anything under 2019, you cannot rev match a car. 2019 has like different sensor types on the clutch and on the trans. Have you messed around with the JNS Vampire system? Never heard of it. Who remembers professional products? Professional product? What's that from? Why Vortec? Can you explain more about the crack snapping issue? I was kind of being facetious about that. So the Vortec mounts, if I'm not mistaken, on the rear sheath, on the rear ribs of the crank balancer, right? There's one in the front that runs your accessories, and the one in the rear mounts runs your AC only. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the Vortec and Paxton run on the rear sheath. I could be mistaken about that, but I like the bracket setup better because it's set apart from the passenger side, and I think there's less tension on the crank going that way. ProCharger, it has been known because the way the bracket is way out in left field and it's putting a little bit of tension on the crank. I have seen kits that have had on high boost applications. Understand there's a lot of tension, and maybe they didn't install it right. Who knows? But I've seen more issues with a ProCharger setup than Vortec. The other thing is ProCharger uses the MAF inside the intercooler. That's not a bad thing, but it's not the cleanest MAF signal on the planet. I've never had an issue tuning a Paxton or Paxton or Vortec supercharged vehicle with the way the MAF is placed in the tube, in the air charge pipe. It's a lot easier, better signal. Subsequently, ProCharger has now started to offer a MAF in a charge pipe setup to get away from the intercooler placed mass airflow sensor, because it's just such a dirty signal that it doesn't tune that good. Luckily, GT350s, every GT350 that has a ProCharger kit comes with a MAF in tube, and I think that's what they're offering to GT guys to get away from the MAF in intercooler setup. People on forums talk about E85 and E85R tunes. So E85R, we call it like race. Basically, it's just more spark down low and a little more spark allowed up top. That's pretty much it. Okay, it'll be fine. It's someone's talking about UPR versus BMR. I don't care about either. Once Steve left UPR, I'm not really loyal to companies. I'm more loyal to people. And Steve Gels went and started working for long tube headers. So once he left UPR, my connection to UPR sort of went away. I love them. They're great guys, and they've treated me well this whole time. But, you know, the reason I was at UPR was because of Steve. Once he left, you know, there goes that. Dan Roberts says, hey, Alex, we met at 2K18 at the 96 Mystic Cobra Coyote Swap. I remember you, Dan. You went to the VNP booth and we talked. I finally put a Trinity TVS on the car, an 82 millimeter, twin 65, E85, T56 to 410s. What mile an hour in the quarter should I expect? So if you had 410s, depends on your pulley setup. Oh, 82. So 82, twin 65, the car's pretty light. I'd say 136. 136 is a good mile an hour. I think I went 139 with my S197. No, I went 140 with my S197 with the 85 and a 75 millimeter pulley, but the car's heavier. So if you get out of the hole and you cut a good 60 foot, I can't see why you're not going to be able to mile an hour in the mid 130s. Hey, Alex, if we buy a tune from a vendor, can we request that you tune the vehicle? You can, Phoenix NFA, but there is no guarantee you're going to get me. Depending on workload, Johnny Nardi and a new gentleman, I forget his name, I'm really sorry. They dole out the tunes evenly. So just because you request me doesn't mean you're going to get me. You might get Brandon or Dakota or even John Lone Jr. or Sr., which are very capable of tuning the car. Again, we all tune with the same base files. Jesus, Ryan, what are you doing? Ryan Dillon, y'all show Alex some love and quit asking for free shit. Thanks for all the information. Ryan Dillon's a good dude, man. When I couldn't make Texas 2K with the Fairmont, I gave him my spot, and he was nice enough because he couldn't, you know, it was limited and he wasn't able to get in. And I said, hey, Ryan, I was able to get you in, and he was very gracious and bought the spot out from me. He was able to race at Texas 2K. It's very nice. Good dude. I've met him 3 or 4 years in a row. I've been in Texas 2K. He's a good guy. VMP tune versus Roush tune for a 16 GT with the Phase 2 TVS Roush kit. How much power could I pick up? Now, I don't think part for part you're going to make more power with a VMP tune over a Roush tune. Again, power. But what you will gain is ET. VMP can open up the rev limiter, the RPM range. They do a good trans calibration to get you down the road quickly, and the car will be able to ET better, even though it probably makes the same power part for part. You're gonna go quicker and faster with a VMP tune if that's what you tend to go with. Now, if you want to go with a Lund tune, hey, we're here. Jason, thank you very much. I don't know why you're giving me money, but I appreciate it. Just got the twin turbo Helium sleeper kit. It's a little sleeper kit. Everyone's freaking out about the sleeper kit. I don't understand the whole hoopla about it, but it's pretty funny. And this guy's talking about some other company. Look, you're not being tuned by me. So if you want to know 91 octane versus 93 octane, I have no idea how your tune is set up. Unfortunately, Iron Bull, I'd love to answer your question, but I don't know how your tune is set up. So you're unfortunately not unfortunately, but you're gonna have to talk to your tuner. Now, if you were tuned with Lund, I would say it depends on how sweet the 91 is in your area. Because if we tune you for 93, depending on air load, 15, 16, 17, you're probably gonna see 16 to 17 degrees of timing. But if you're in Oklahoma, that 91 is going to suck, and I doubt you'll even be able to get 13 degrees of timing at about 8 pounds of boost into that card. So I would check with your tuner and see how the tune is set up, and if you're able to get away with 91 octane. I hate pump gas when it comes to big power cars. I don't like being the guy that claims 700 on pump gas. I think that's fucking stupid. And I just don't play that pump gas game. If you want to make power reliably without really worrying about gas quality, I always tell people to go E85. And if they don't go E85, I'm turning it way down because I'm not going to be responsible for blowing up your shit. Okay, let me go through this. Thanks, Alex. Not sure how light the car is now. Cage blower, harness, fuel, and probably 37 with me. Okay, Dan Roberts, so you're probably going to go about the same as me because my car weighed 3720 with me in it, so you're going to go about 139. You're making bank. Yeah, people are giving me money. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm just here talking some shit. Wow, 312 people watching. Right on. And again, I didn't really announce anything. I just like to pop in and talk for a little while and see what the deal is. Is it possible to do an E85 tune on my 2018 and leave all the factory shift schedules as in drive modes? Yes, absolutely. We have tunes because a lot of people look. I assume that if you want a performance tune, you want the transmission to have a performance feel to it. So we assume that also, but a lot of people get the tune and they go, oh, it's a little bumpy, it hurts my vagina, which is fine. So we go ahead and make a tune to soften the shifts and enable skip shifts so that when you're driving around town, you're fine. But when you go wide open throttle, it's gonna bang pretty hard. So we have the best of both worlds. Just make sure that you tell people, I want an E85 tune, but I want to retain stock part throttle shift characteristics, and we'll be able to take care of you. Jason, King of Life. My local gas station sells the 85 that learns to 75. It learns to 75%? Oh, it learns to 75% on flex tune. Can I run the E85R tune with that amount of ethanol content? So, Jason, the flex tune isn't dead nuts accurate like a flex fuel sensor, okay? It's using the wide bands and it's close enough. So I wouldn't really rely on the flex tune to tell you the exact amount to a T of the kind of ethanol that's in there. The only way to really know for sure the ethanol content in the pump is to test it with an old school tester. Just test it and then you'll know. The flex fuel tune is for transition and convenience, okay? If you want to say, man, can I run E85 on it? Well, test it. Test it. Now, the flex tune will learn it regardless of whether it learns it properly or improperly. It'll learn it and it'll trim properly, but don't rely on a flex fuel tune that goes off of the wideband, not a flex fuel sensor, to learn the ethanol content. It's there just for convenience. It's not there to race. It's not there to run E85, and it's not there to run it until it tests E85, because I've had flex fuel tunes learn to 70%, and then I put the E85R tune in it and it trims properly, meaning it's E85. What's the safest shot of nitrous? Oh gosh, What's the safest shot of nitrous for my car? I wouldn't go over 150 on a stock Coyote at all. Rockets or Warriors? I want the Rockets to win just because I want to see someone else. But at the end of the day, I think talent is going to overcome. And fuck, the Warriors are nasty. Did you see Curry missed that dunk at the end? That was actually, I didn't laugh at the dude because I can't dunk, but I laughed at the dude. Hey, Alex, do you know if running 85 with nitrous carries the same benefits as running 85 with forced induction? So Leviathan 5.0, the nice thing about 85 is there's a ton of octane, and it's like a fat kid in a candy store. It's just like, oh my God, a ton of octane. So the E85 tune with E85 with nitrous is going to be more forgiving. So you can probably run a little more timing on it, but I wouldn't be able to run like naturally aspirated timing to it. I would definitely say, well, you can run a little more timing and you can probably run it slightly leaner based on the available octane, but I really wouldn't use that as a rule of thumb. It's just safer. So for my money, if I have E85 available to me and I wanted to run nitrous, I'm going to run E85 and nitrous just so that I have that plenty of octane in the tank and I don't have to worry about a bad batch of 93 or shitty 93 that doesn't test good, and then I'm spraying 150 on top of that. That's not what I want to do. Wing 65 288 paid me $5 and he asked, rebound compression settings on your Viking shocks. Daddy trying to get 1460. Thanks, love the channel. So if you have a set of Viking shocks on a S197, I would go a little higher on compression than rebound, okay? So I would do something like 10-8, 10 compression, 8 rebound, and try that out. Now, you have to video the car from the back and see how the body's reacting. What you want is a little separation. So if the car actually is separating and moving forward, that's kind of what you want. But if it's squatting on the heavier side, you might want to up rebound a little bit, because initially what happens is when you launch, let's say this is your pinion and this is your rear end pumpkin. Well, the car does this, right? So what that does is twist the rear end back and it extends the shock momentarily, and then the body starts to roll in. So initially it's going to be rebound, and then when the body catches up with everything else, it's going to be compression. So I like to be a little higher on the compression side and pretty close on the rebound side. So 10-8 to start on an S197. With a S550, the opposite. I would do something like a 7 compression and 10 rebound, because it's an IRS. So it's going to come down and you want it to stay down, or you basically want the fender or the quarter panel gap to stay about the same so that it hits the tire harder. So 710 for an S550, 10-8 for a S197. If you have a 17-inch drag radial like this car had, I had it at 18 PSI. If you have a 15-inch drag radial, I do 17 or 16. That's a lot of information for $10. Is the alcohol sensor for 85 cars? Alcohol sensor. You can use an ethanol sensor, but it's not going to change the tune. There's no way of making it change the tune on the fly like Chevy does. Can you test E85 with an alcohol hydrometer? That I don't know. If Robert Ball was here, I would definitely ask him. Junior might know. Speaking of which, is Junior online? Let me go to Facebook real quick and see if Junior's online. Watch it kick me out of the chat and shit. Nope. Yeah, he's out there. Tony Turbo 91, ¿cuándo más videos en español? So the Spanish videos didn't really do that well. I have a lot more English speaking fans, and the Spanish videos, unfortunately, really don't do that well. Now, I do have a shitload of Spanish speaking fans, not just in the United States, obviously, but Venezuela, well, not Venezuela, shit, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, huge Spanish contingent. I think they know enough English that my channel comes across. Now, if you're dealing with me in a one-to-one basis, I'll talk to you in Spanish, and I'll swear to you in Spanish if you fuck up. So I make sure that I can speak Spanish real well, but I think it's better for me to leave that when I do one-on-one interactions, because what happens when I do is English video, people get all mad. Oh, sorry, Spanish video, they get all mad because they're expecting me to do a video, and then I talk Spanish and they get all bent out of shape. So I gotta please the majority. Indie Boost. So I had a shop put a Paxton 2200 on my 15 manual with all the cookies to go with milk. OPGs, cooling mods, drive shaft, half shaft, cook headers, AT manifold, $20,000 worth. Woo! 753 wheel. That's not bad. I mean, depends on the pulley size. I mean, did you go for the kill pulley? I usually see about 800 with a combo that has like E85 and everything like that. Full Auto GT says, I'm wanting to tune my car because I do have the typewriter tick and 2K RPM rattle. I've had an oil analysis done and we'll be sending off second analysis, and the tune will follow pending results. Good. That's very thorough. The tick and rattle, they're making fun. Ron Spear. Xander 13, how about the Steeda closed air box? Aren't you like supposed to wrap your car or some shit? I mean, why do you want to know about the Steeda cold air box? Don't you got to wrap your car or put a front end bumper kit on it or something, Xander? The Steeda cold air box is good. They are going to revise it. The early versions had a bit of a dirty MAF signal, so they're going to go ahead and I think do some revising to it to move the sensor a little further away from the filter, but they have it on their car. Take that for what it's worth. I'm going to be honest with you, man. I cannot co-sign on any aftermarket cold air. Now, I'm not going to make fun of them either, but I can't co-sign on any of them because then I look like I'm playing favorites. So I'm not going to do that shit. I say we tune them. They tune pretty well. In some cases, they have a bit of a dirty signal, which they are addressing. Get with Steeda on particulars, and I'm sure they'll be able to answer your questions better than I can. Someone's, dude, your videos of Spanish are the hot. Are the hot. I don't know what that means. See, that's the problem. I don't know what you're saying. Okay, hold on. Oh my God, you guys are going ape shit with questions. Puta madre or something like that. Okay, yeah. Have you tuned a Gen 2 F-150 engine with GT cams in a swap? Yes. They tune well. They tune just like a Mustang. I'm in Arizona. We only have E54. Wah, 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 move. Can we get an E54 tuner? Is it not worth it? If your gasoline, or sorry, if your ethanol tests E54 consistently, yes, we can get you an E54 tune. This live show is better than that, blah, blah, blah. Yawning the whole time? I don't know who you're talking about. Let's take it back a little bit. Fox Body Stuff, Megasquirt, PMP or Tweaker. Not sure if you're familiar, but I know you still have a soft spot. Yeah, Megasquirt's pretty badass shit. What's his name? Sergio Rojas tunes with Megasquirt. And actually, after seeing how it interfaces and everything, it's pretty straightforward, and I like it. The only problem is it doesn't compensate, right? So if you literally tune for your environment that day, so you have to tune. If you're going to go to the track, you have to tune the car, I think, every time at the track. It does have a map sensor, but then it does compensate for, I think it does compensate for IAT and Barrow. So it looked pretty promising. Someone said you can't speak Spanish. You think you do? Haha. I don't know who's talking to. Oh no, the tick. What are your thoughts on the automatic transmission temps? They're getting pretty high, 200 plus. Honestly, my 6R80 always lived above 200. But I'm in Florida. If you're in PA or whatever, in the summer, it's going to get to 200. And in the fall and winter, it probably barely gets above 180. So says something's wrong with Brandon. All good, though. I love Brandon. Brandon's a good dude. Shut up. That's my boy. RS3 for me says 17 RS3 and 1050X injectors, plugs, BAP, 75 pulley, swapping a VMP heat exchanger, getting tuned by Dakota. Should I change from a 520 to a 550? Yes. Yes, it's supercharged, right? RS3, change to a 550. Stop fucking around. And don't worry about what anyone says on the internet. Change to a 550. The MS3 Pro will compensate. Tony Whetstone. If Tony Whetstone says it, it's law. The dude has a 7-second. The dude has a 7-second Fox Body. Whatever he says goes. So if it does compensate, Tony, I believe you. How's your 2019 Mustang? Does it tick? Believe it or not, it does not tick. Besides Lund, Steeda, Bama, VMP, or others, I don't know. I don't know what the question was. So sorry, brother. You have to ask it like 10 times or pay me to answer because it comes up in big green letters. Tacuache. Tacuaches, I think those guys that drive those lowered Chevy 1500 trucks in Pasadena, Texas, which is in Houston. Please look at the second part of my question up and a little in the comments. Okay, good. I'm doing that for you. Here we go. Have you ever thought about coming up to Streetcar Takeover in Charlotte? Is that you or is that someone else in yellow? No, Indie Boost. Let me look for Indie Boost. Hold on, Indie Boost. I'm coming. My question in 2 parts. Jesus Christ. I changed cars and got a 6R80 with a 671 wheel only. Part, not swap, was 18 manifold, 340 pulley, by the way. Is that normal? Is there something left in the tune? Let me look at the first part of your question. God damn it. Had a shop put on 753W. It says 753W, so that means wheel, right? And then it says I changed cars and got a 6R80, 671. Only part that wasn't swapped to 18 manifold, by the way. Is that normal? Is there something left in the tune? Well, if one was manual and the other one was 6R80, you're going to see less power with the 6R80. It shouldn't be 50 less, but I bet you the 6R80 is quicker than the manual one. But I don't think there's anything. Look, is it on pump gas? Is it on 85? If it's on pump gas, that's all you're going to get, in my opinion. Any chance you would get classic old school YOLO someday? Yo, what's up, guys? LOL. Have the stickers you sold 3+ years ago. Elite Geeks. I don't know. I mean, YOLO could come back, but again, you got to understand, the moment he comes back, everyone's going to be like, let's get him fired. He's saying stupid shit. Because the people don't understand what a character says versus what I say, right? The moment that my mouth says it, they think Alex said it, and you can't hide behind a character anymore. This industry is full of some snake ass motherfuckers, so you really can't have fun and provide comedy relief to people without them getting butthurt and trying to report you to your boss. And I'm really sick and tired of putting anyone that I work for in that position of defending me constantly, because it must be just like just draining. So, you know when YOLO comes back? When I'm not working in the industry anymore. When I'm done working in anything tuning or anything like that, which could be years from now, or hell, they could just get rid of me tomorrow. I doubt it, though. We have a real good relationship. That's when he'll make a huge comeback and talk all that shit. And do you know how much shit? Do you know how much shit I know that I can really pop off on and make people miserable? Woo-wee! You don't want to see me out of this industry. That would be funny if someone actually did get me fired and got me out of the industry. Then YOLO makes the biggest comeback in history, and I talk all the shit because I have nothing to lose at that point. But for right now, stay nice and quiet. Oh, someone paid me. I gotta answer that question. 10R80 versus 6R80. Changed my mind. The fastest cars on the planet, the fastest Ford transmission on the planet is a 6R80. There you go, Stang Mode. The fastest 6R80 on the planet, the fastest Ford Trans on the planet is a 6R80. And the Lunds are out there making 1,500 rear wheel horsepower with a Gen 2 6R80. Show me a 10R80 that'll be able to hold up to that shit. And 10R80s are being launched in second gear now to run any decent numbers. So that goes against everyone's theory about, oh, it's not a real 6R80 unless you're launching in first. And then guys with 10R80s are launching in second, running 8s, just destroying that whole stupid argument. So there you go, Stang Mode. Wrong again. Xander and Stang Mode are not going to Lund. No way. No freaking way. You know why? And this is the first time I'm going to ever address Xander and Stang Mode directly. They have literally talked so much shit about Lund on their channels. Don't think that I don't watch. Don't think that I don't get made aware of what's happening. But they have talked so much shit on Lund that it would be ironic. It would be ironic. I'd have to have a conversation with them. If they were going to come my way, I'd have to have a conversation with them dudes. They're nice guys. They got a channel. They got to push followers. They got to do all that shit. But at the end of the day, you got to be real as fuck. And if you're out there talking shit on a tuner that you probably never really had a chance to work with, but you're repping your tuner, to me, that's some bullshit. And we're going to have a conversation about that shit if they were ever to come to Lund. That's the difference between me and other YouTubers. I talk that shit. And I back up my people. Yeah, bullshit, Xander. You've talked shit. I remember when you had a Whipple car and saying, well, the long tune. Trust me, the video's out there. Paid question above. Love the channel. Dark150. Where are you, brother? Paid question above. No, Stang Mode asked about 10R80, RS3 for me. Ron Spear. Wings, rebound compression. No, I don't see your question up there. Oh, Dark One. How does 60 foot harder than a 145 so I can beat Bama even further? Okay, well, I don't know how you're launching. I know that your car is pretty badass, naturally aspirated 1062 at 132 with a lung tune. That's impossible according to some YouTubers. So how to 60 foot harder? Well, you're launching with a slick, right? You probably have a 373 gear set, I would think. You have a 373 or a 355 or something like that. I'd say get the car lighter, and a lot of people with like a 331 gear and like maybe a 26-inch tall tire, if you can get it to stick in mile an hour more, that might help you out. But at the end of the day, a 28-inch tall slick with an IRS launching at the moon, as long as your axles stay in place, that's going to be the ticket, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough. I got the Gen 3 motor and trans working in an S197, makes 785, got more to go. Wow, that's badass. I mean, how are you controlling it? Like, did someone make you a control pack, or they wired their own control pack, or did they take everything out of a Gen 3 Mustang and put it in your vehicle? That's interesting. That's probably the first one I've heard of. If it's a Gen 3, unless it's a manual. If it's a manual, I get it because Ford offers a Gen 3 control pack. But if it's a 10 or 80, good job, brother. All Mustang YouTubers are okay. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna rag on Mustang YouTubers. Just know that anytime anyone talks shit about the company I work for, they get noticed, and I don't forget about shit. I got a memory like a fucking elephant. So if you're out there talking any kind of shit about the company I work for, I don't go and pop off on you. I just remember that shit so that when you need me, we're gonna have a conversation. Shannon Dugan, hey Alex, the last time with senior and junior about the grass seed, I tried Scotts Grove and it worked pretty good. Now I'm looking for some good soil. What's your recommendation? Look, I sold my houses 6-7 years ago. I mean, I didn't have two houses. I had one house and I had a house before that. And honestly, I don't want to work on grass. I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to do anything. I just want to work on cars. So I literally sold all my shit, and just so I can have more cars. I don't need much. I literally just need a bed to sleep in and a TV, and that's it. And I'm good. So unfortunately, I'm not the one to tell you what's the best turf builder stuff to use. Maybe someone out there can tell Mr. Dugan, Shannon Dugan, about his yard. Maybe they can help. Okay, dark one. Mickey R radials, 410, 34. Oh, wow. So Mickey R radials? So why don't you try a slick? Why don't you try like a 28-inch tall slick, like a Mickey Thompson ET drag stiff wall, and see how that comes out for you. Man, if you're going that fast on a radial, that's badass. You must have like a slipper clutch set up. But yeah, man, if you're leaving at 7,400 on a radial and it's sticking and not snapping shit, why don't you try a slick? Riley Newfield, Alex, did you ever get into fights or school or elsewhere? Yeah, Riley. I grew up in a real bad neighborhood. Holyoke, Massachusetts. Look up Holyoke, Massachusetts. I grew up in I don't want to say any sob story. Everyone's got their fucked up life or whatever. But yeah, I grew up in a pretty bad neighborhood. You have to. I'm 41, so I grew up in the 80s, and they would steal your shoes, like literally steal your shoes, like your fucking shoes. So yeah, you had to scrap a little bit, but I was one of those guys that just wanted to play baseball and be left alone. So that's what I did. Who the hell gave me $50? What is wrong with you people? Thank you, but Jesus. David Gravel, let's see the Maverick do a wheelie. So David Gravel, the Maverick, for those of you that don't know, I have a Ford Maverick. John Lund Sr. was nice enough to give me a Ford Maverick. All I had to do was pay to transport it down here because it was literally yard art in his house. I don't think it's going to be a drag car. I already have the red car as an NA drag car and daily driver. The Fairmont's going to be pretty badass. I do not want to make another drag car. You know how it is with drag cars. They just kill your money. 2015 in Oklahoma with 91 only. Recommendation for good power. If you're going to boost it, keep it under 10 pounds. If you're going to be NA, a cold air and some free flowing exhaust, cat deletes. And if you can find the 85, get it in there. But with 91, Oklahoma 91, that's going to be your biggest problem, brother. Octane. That 91 in Oklahoma is straight garbage. So you're going to have to look for alternate sources of octane because it's just not enough. Hey, Alex, what do you think of some tuners not tuning 18 and up supercharged Mustangs if they're not using 85 or race gas? So Eshan or Esan, I'm not against it. That's their prerogative. If they don't want to tune boosted cars, unless it's on the 85, it's a very safe way of tuning. I'm not going to rag on them because honestly, a lot of you guys live in areas that have really, really bad octane. So just so that certain tuners don't get bad names, we're not going to, I would love to say, dude, give me all the octane on the planet. And if you're like, no, bro, all I got is Oklahoma 91, then guess what? 8 pounds of boost max and hope for the best. And if you get some 85, we'll send it then. Indie Boost, he says, love the channel, actual info. I'd love to have you write my tune. PM me, please. Indie Boost, hit up support@lundracing.com. Tell them that you'd like me to tune you, and we'll get you squared away, brother. That's what we do. I'm Aussie living in the Philippines. Love the show. How are the women in the Philippines? Guy Stenfield. How are the women there? Are they like just dark Asians, really? Twin turbo or Whipple for a Shelby GT350. If you can swing a twin turbo in a Shelby GT350, get that. The guys over at Midnight Performance built one with Aldo. I think they built one with Aldo, or maybe Aces High built it, and they put an Aldo Welds twin turbo kit, and that thing with a T56 rapes shit down in Houston. Alex, what's the scariest car you've ever driven? BJ's GT500? BJ's GT500? That car, this car is like 2 seconds faster than BJ's GT500, like legit 2 seconds faster. So no, and this wasn't scary. Get the fuck out of here, BJ's GT500. That wasn't scary. Shit. The scariest car I've ever driven? It was a 72. It was a 72. Is it a 70? Let me look it up. Hold on. I don't want to. 1972 Dodge Cuda. Yep. It was a 72 Dodge Cuda with a naturally aspirated like 900 cubic inch. No, it was like a high 500 cubic inch, 800 horsepower, 4-speed car. That was the scariest motherfucker I ever drove because it just torqued all weird and you gave it gas and it went all, it was just the coolest fucking thing ever. But it was scary. Not because it was fast scary, because it was just like raw scary. Are you coming to Texas 2K in 2020? ROG, I'm planning to come to every Texas 2K till the end of my life. That to me is just the best event, the best run event, the best event that represents the fastest street cars on the planet. And it's the Super Bowl of street racing, in my opinion, street drag racing or street cars. Some guy just gave me money, didn't ask a question. Okay. What does my 15 Mustang feel the same horsepower with just the intake? Then I run E85 in intake and it doesn't feel any difference in horsepower. What can it be? Why does my 15 Mustang feel the same horsepower? Feel. You said feel. You don't actually know. You said it feels. So your butt dyno. I would get it measured because I bet you it doesn't feel much faster because it's probably only about 10 to 15 horse. But if you measure it like back to back on the same day, if it's a pump gas tune and an intake versus an E85 tune and an intake, I'm sure there'll be a sizable difference. Scariest car was your Mustang 2. Shannon Dugan, how do you know? How do you know I had a Mustang 2? I did have a Mustang 2. How the fuck does he know that? Yeah, it was an Aldo Welds 350 set. It put a gap on a twin turbo LPF 10 speed. Yeah, that's the race I saw. Whew. That LPF car was out by a car, and then the car was like whoop, 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 and then the race was over. It was really cool to see. L&M intake cams. You have any experience? Possibly compare. Fuck. You guys are asking too many questions. Compare to comp cams in terms of tuning and drivability. Tuning them is not that hard, especially on Gen 2. It's mostly cam timing, and it's not like this crazy thing. It's actually pretty straightforward. And John Jr. vetted the tune tons of times. So it does well. Now you got to understand, a lot of you guys like keep saying drivability, drivability, drivability. Look, the car's going to drive fine. It's not going to be like this crazy herky-jerky thing. If you have locked cams, yes, then it'll be herky-jerky and stupid. But a car with variable cam time, you know, with the VCT still active, it's not going to drive badly. See, I don't want you guys bashing other Mustang channels. That's what I don't want. See, that's the difference. That's the difference between me and other Mustang guys on YouTube. I don't want you guys bashing them, okay? But I understand that if I'm in a position of influence, right? So a lot of you guys listen to what I got to say. And that's why I'm not releasing the cold air video. I'm not releasing the cold air video based on experience and responsibility. I'm not going to go out there and make it seem like I'm dogging on someone. Because a lot of people believe what I say. Now they have more followers and a lot of people believe what they say. So when they pop off on something, people tend to believe them. Or if they are pro something, right, people tend to believe them. So what happens? People like me that are more honest and are careful with the words I say and pick, have to just roll our eyes and go, geez, and if you're in a position of influence, you can't just go popping off on some dumb shit and it gets back to me. So, you know, I don't want you guys popping off on them on this channel. Let them do their thing. They got their followers. That's all good. We're in different. I don't think me and their channels are in the same plane. Okay, I give you a ton of great information. I work in the industry and I do a lot of vetting of parts and I have a little comedy set aside. I think those guys are more on the entertainment side of things, okay? So, which is fine, and I wish them the best, but I don't want it to become a bash show because they're okay guys from what I can tell. I think I met Stang Mode at an American Muscle Car Show way back when, but yeah, what are you gonna do? Joe Daniel says, 11 and 12 GT500 versus the 1314 GT500, pros and cons. So the 1314 GT500 is going to make more power because of the blower. Plain and simple, because of the blower. It's got a better blower. Now, if you put a TVS in an 1112 GT500, it's actually a competitive race. Why? Because the 11 to 12 GT500 has a 297 first gear, and most of them came with 355s or 373s. The 1314 GT500s make more power. They're a little heavier because of the 5.8, and they only came with a 331 rear gear. I don't know if the performance package versions came with any other different differential, but I think they all came with 331s. And the TR6060 transmission has a 266 first gear, making first gear so freaking long, it's not even funny, like a long first gear. So if the 11 to 12 had a TVS, I put my money on the 11 to 12 based on gear ratio. But for straight grunt power and notoriety and, you know, put you in a better class, the 1314 is kind of hard to beat. It was the last year made of that body style, the last real GT500 ever made, even though this 2020 is coming out. Not a lot of people consider it a GT500 because it's in an older body, basically a 15 GT250, 15 to 18 GT250 body with a 5.2. So a lot of people are like, oh, it's not really a GT500. So it's silly. Lunchy Oliva, my question is up there somewhere. Oh man, I'm sorry, dude. It's getting crazy. That lunchy. Let me look you up. Oh, here we go. I bought a Gen 2 Coyote and 6R80 together and was wondering if the 11 to 14 drive shaft will work when I swap my 07 GT. It might. I bought a Gen 2 Coyote and 6R80 together. If it's in an S197, I think it'll fit. If you're putting a Gen 2 motor and a 6R80 in an older S197, I'm pretty sure it will fit. So I saw someone put King Cobra. I think so. Someone said King Cobra somewhere. Are they talking about a Mustang too? That's funny as shit. Where is it? Oh shit, that was funny. Who's worse, Hellcat owners or Corvette owners? Corvette owners. Corvette owners by far. Hellcat owners, the worst thing they do is leave that yellow thing on the bottom of their car. Corvette owners, just go to Florida and you'll be like, okay. Okay. Thoughts on MMR 4.75 stroker kits? I have no thoughts. That should answer your question. What's your favorite Mustang? Your Daily Venom asks me, what's your favorite Mustang? 1999 Celine S351. If I can get my hands on a 99 Celine S351, I'm in there. That's like literally my dream car. Hey, Alex, this is Philip. You're tuning my 14 6R80 with a turbo, racking my head over this exhaust knock. Just wonder how often you run into this. Red 99 GSX. very often, especially on budget kits. So On3 and other budget kits, On3 being the main culprit, they have top mount, bottom mount, up your ass mount, single, triple, quads. They have a bunch of different variations. So obviously it's budget, so it's subpar quality. So what happens is a lot of the stuff doesn't really fit all that great. So you have to custom move stuff around. Something hits the K member, something rubs the body, something rubs anywhere. Your car on tip-in knocks. And then when you shift gears, it knocks again. And then the knock sensors try to add the timing in. Usually at peak load, meaning at highest airflow value or something like that. Let's say if your high peak boost is 6,000 RPM and it's 10 pounds of boost, that's when your car is more prone to knocking, not on tip-in and then shifting. Now, there is spark retard based on tip-in spark retard, a whole bunch of things. That's all taken care of in the tune. I didn't put aggressive spark on tip-in on your car. If anything, it's the opposite. So I still think your turbo kit is hitting somewhere when the engine torques over because it happens on the hit and on a shift. What are your thoughts on the torque converter for 1819? Those new torque converters by Circle D, they're pretty badass. I'd look into them. I'd really look into them. They're pretty badass from what I can tell. Hit up Circle D and ask them. Close to Houston, considering mid-mount twins for my 16 PP. Thoughts or splurge on top mount? Dude, just do mid-mount, man, because you're not going to make 1,1300, right? Is that what you're looking to do? And top mount, you got to do a lot of moving around, like the AC line and all that shit. There's a lot of stuff. If you want to go fast now, go with what's easiest to install. I understand you want the turbos to look cool on top and everything, but with a cooler look comes more work. So if I were you, just get what's available quickly. I have a 2017 ProCharge manual making 826. Wow. Should I go auto or stay manual? Your thoughts? I would stay manual. Stay manual unless you're looking to be really competitive in drag racing consistently. But if you're looking to street drive the car and drive it often, dude, stay manual, dude. I drive my white Mustang twice as much as I drive that car. Twice as much because it's more fun. I can fuck around, take turns, shift. It's fun to me. The auto is cool and everything, but when it comes to driving a car, manual. Dirty Vert says we have the same dream car. Dude, 99 S351. I love it. Is it worth the money to purchase a 2014 TVS or just wait and save for a VMP? What do you mean to purchase a 2014 TVS? I don't get what you're saying. Like a Roush car? I don't know. I don't know if that's what you mean. Hector kept, what to say? Kept what? Thoughts on the Plasma Man intake manifold? We have one in our Blue Goose for Lund Racing. It's badass. It's pretty badass. I must admit. It's probably the same as a Cobra Jet up until about 20-something PSI, 25, 26. But then after that, it just, the separation is massive. And the Plasma Man does roll well. And it's made out of metal. So it's not going to blow up on you if you're trying to throw 30 pounds of boost at it. How much horsepower will the 2008 Shelby GT500 stock motor and trans handle? 825, pretty good. Anything above that, it's just rolling the dice. Guitar Man says, hey, pal. I'm like, hey, Guitar Man. Get the VMP Gen 3 for your 08. Yeah, that'll work. Rocket booster, trunk mount. Okay, good. I caught up with all this stuff. Carlos Villarreal, can you tell us what suspension mods you had on your S197 and what was your best 60-foot? See, the S197, the black car, had stock cut springs in the front. It had Ford Racing rear, like P springs. It had UPR, everything in the back, lower, upper. And it had Menser shocks. It had AFCO shocks with Menser valving, I think. No, sorry. Regular AFCO shocks, but they had drag radial valving. So basically my settings were 0 because it was already a stiff shock. But I had a slick on it. So think of it as a Viking, like a Warrior or whatever, with like 10 and 6 compression, 10 compression and 6 rebound. That's about what I had on that car. And that's it. That car cut a 140 60 foot, the best 60 foot it ever cut, launching at 6,200 RPM. And then when I tried to launch it any higher than that on a smaller pulley, I broke the rear end and then I sold the car shortly thereafter because I didn't want to blow up the engine because it would be worth nothing. Okay. Saludos de Puerto Rico. Emerald Joy 92 says, hola, ¿cómo está mi gente? Has anyone beat Justin Jordan? Beat him how? Like his ET record? I mean, I think there's been faster Coyotes. I think it's like door slammer Coyotes. He's got the quickest, like street driven or able to be driven on the street Coyote. I think he's still the top dog if I'm not mistaken. Alice, what are your thoughts on IMRCs for the 18 manifold 15 to 17 cards? I heard people say lockouts for ease of install, and you may lose low end torque. Dude, lock them out. You know why I say lock them out? Because the pigtails on the market probably work, but we can't trust you, the customer, to run the hoses properly. We have given people tons of tutorials. We give them very obvious directions, and they still fuck it up. So I said, dude, just lock them out. Lock them out. Here's a tune, and it'll work just fine. I'm wanting about 700 to 800 streetable horsepower to my 05 Mustang GT. Should I keep the 3-valve or yeah, no. Streetable. That's what's killing me right there. You have to get a build more like David Gravel's car. David Gravel's car is a built to the fucking moon 3-valve with Paxton 2200, makes in the 9s. It actually drives decent. I mean, there's some tipping issues we got to figure out yet, but like I wouldn't drive that car every day. Fuck no. Not because it's going to blow up or anything, because it's just not, I don't know. It's like, I would just get a Gen 2 Coyote Mustang. Get a 15 to 17 Mustang with any TVS, a Roush blower, or even an Edelbrock blower, or a Whipple. I mean, if you want to, I like how the Edelbrock looks. Call me crazy. After seeing it in Steve's car, I'm like, that shit looks good in there, brother. So anything with about 10 to 12 pounds of boost on E85 is going to make 700 wheel, no problem. Hey, Alex. It's Alex. What's the fastest naturally aspirated GT350? I have a coworker who has one with long tubes, JLT cold air, and your E85 Lund tune. He ran 11.7 at the track on Mickey Thompson ET Street SS radios. I think we had one go like 11.7s also back in 2015, 2016, but I don't know. That's like a micro record that not many people keep track of. I mean, the clutch sucks on the GT350. The trans sucks. A lot of things suck in that GT350. So it's not really a quarter mile car. Now you put a T56 in it and a Mantic clutch and some twin turbos. Now we're talking, but I still wouldn't drag race that car. That car is so much more than just a drag racer. But to answer your question, I don't know what the quickest naturally aspirated GT350 is. Sorry. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate your response. Big fan of yours. Thank you, Carlos Villarreal. Okay, people are talking to each other. That's good. Any thoughts on the Edelbrock 2300 TVS unit? The 2300 didn't do so well because it was not upgradable. So the 2300 just came with the pulley that it came with. It came with a cold air, and if you wanted a stage 2, I think it was like silly stuff. You know, the 2650 has been completely redesigned, bigger intercooler up top, bigger lower balancer for stage 2, badass heat exchanger, badass intercooler pump, modular inlet, so you can run a stock throttle body or a 103 millimeter throttle body, and a ton of pulley combinations. They really did their homework on the stage 2 2650 kit, but the 2300 kit, I'm not a big fan of, honestly. Jamie paid me $2 and said 18 to 19 GT, 315 gears, is 10s possible with bolt-ons? Yep. If I'm not mistaken, the Steeda car has nothing but bolt-ons, because you can bolt on a converter, and it's run like 1030s. So, and I think he has 315 gears, to be honest with you. He went from 410s to 373s to 355s, I think. And I think right now he has 315 gears. Did you watch the Coyote versus LSX build where they both broke the engine on the dyno? It's so, what did you think? So, unfortunately, the people putting on those things, okay, I totally believe that a 427 LSX with a bigger Pro Charger is going to make more power than a 302 Coyote with a smaller Pro Charger. I totally believe that test. I totally believe it, because they went with a budget, right? So they said, well, since we have more of a budget with the LS side because parts are cheaper, let's put on a bigger blower. Well, no fucking shit. So it was one of those tests that I just roll my eyes at, because they're trying to milk that LS versus Coyote cow until the last fucking drop. And it's just like, dude, This is the test that needs to happen. Anybody out there in the magazine, do this, okay? If you're really about that fucking life, get an LS with no mods. No mods. A 6.3 LS3, okay? Versus a Gen 2 Coyote. No mods, no cam, no nothing, and put boost at that motherfucker. Then tell me what's up. Because if you're actually putting aftermarket parts, what does that prove? It proves that the aftermarket is stronger for LS than Ford. But put a stock LS3, no cams, stock heads, stock intake. Put that shit up against a stock Gen 2 motor, stock cams, stock intake. Watch that shit get fucked up by like 300 horsepower. Watch it make 1100 horse on E85 and turbos, and the LS is going to make what? 900? Watch that. I bet you nobody will do that test. I dare you magazines make that test and watch you get fucked up hardcore by a stock Gen 2 motor. I guarantee it. I get a little riled up, sorry. Not trying to piss you off, but what's your thoughts on the EcoBoost Mustang? The EcoBoost Mustang is a great rental car. How many 7-second cars is Lund tuning and how many are street cars? 2 or 3. 2 or 3, not just Coyote. I mean, they tune GT500. 2 or 3 or 4. I think 4. And they're all street cars. They're not like all-out drag cars, you know? Jamie says, any Mustang meets in Florida, like Jeep Fest? If there are, I wouldn't know. I don't really keep track with meets. I'm not a meet guy because Mustang owners are kind of dickheads most of the time. So I really don't want to meet them. Shannon Dugan says, thoughts on the 79 to 81 Cobras and 84 GT250s. The 79 to 81 Cobras are cool. I like the yellow one with the big stupid Cobra on the hood. I thought they were funny as shit. The GT250s are kind of sad to me because they're kind of an ugly car. And I think some of them came with those metric 3-bar wheels. They were just ugly as shit back in the day. Kara G says, so passionate. Yeah, man, because I'm sick and tired of these magazines who have an obvious interest in keeping that bullshit alive, but then the first LS versus LX, Coyote versus LS shootout, they put a truck motor, then they put forged rods and pistons in an NA motor. Why the fuck did you do that with the budget? Why'd you put forged rods and pistons in an NA application? Why didn't you just get Mustang cams with that budget, E85, a Cobra Jet intake, a CJ throttle body, and have one of the most, there's like 7 Mustang tuners you could have chose from, but they chose an LS guy. And then the motor got beat with no fucking shit. And then the parts they chose were just so stupid. I was like, this is the dumbest collection of parts on the planet. And then they do the boosted version and they go, well, we have more of a budget, so we got a bigger blower for the LS. I'm shocked it made more power. It sucks that they both broke. Nobody wants to see both breaking, but let's make the competition real. Stock factory 6.3 or 6.2, whatever the fuck it is, LS3 versus stock factory Gen 2 motor. And see what's up. If you want to do Gen 1 Mustang motor, okay, Gen 1 Mustang motor versus a 5.3 stock. I'm saying no cams, no intake, no nothing. Stock. Let's see what happens then. They're not going to do that fucking test. Or you think they're going to do that fucking test? Fuck no. They wouldn't even try that shit. The LS Coyote test was gay. I wouldn't say it was gay. It was just like, oh my God. Hey Alex, love your channel and the knowledge. What originally got you into Mustangs? Xavier 1320 asks me that. So when I was 1987, so I was born in 78, so 1988, I was 10 years old. And a Celine Mustang came to my dad's shop. And the wing was loose. And I was like, look at this thing. I was just like, look at this fucking car. A brand new 88 Celine Mustang. It was so pretty. I think it was an 88. And my father fixed up the wing, had a little loose bolt or something stupid. And I asked the guy to do a burnout like a little kid. And he did. He did like the gnarliest sideways dumbass shit. And I was like, done. That shit is the shit right there. And I never went away. It literally never went away. I'm trying to kill scat packs. Shit. I'm trying to kill scat packs this summer with 93 octane Lund tune, 12.50 manual. Any tips? Get it light. Scat packs are pretty quick cars. They got a big motor. If they're automatic, they're pretty good transmission. So get that car light and get some octane booster in it, and you'll need everything you can. Dorian says, hey, Alex, I moved to Central Florida. I'm so sorry you moved to Central Florida. There ain't shit there. Which gas station offers E85? Also, which station offers good fuel? Been filling up at 7-Eleven. So Texaco, Sunoco seem to be okay if you can find them. And anywhere on the turnpike, you can find E85 all the way up and down. Riley Neufeld, yeah, and then they put the hunk of junk Holly sniper manifold on. Shit, let me just bypass that. Hate to bring up Coyote typewriter, but I haven't been able to find much as far as long-term results. Got my 17 GT earlier this year, 5,500 miles, and it has a tick at 2,200 RPM. I can hear it driving. Kara G. So Kara, my 15 that I bought a motor for has a tick. It's not down on power. It's just really annoying. It's just really loud. But honestly, Jake took it apart. He took it apart by the hour. Took it apart. He says, I see no weird bearing wear. I don't see anything that's a concern. So I really wouldn't worry about it. So I haven't really worried about it. I am concerned. The light came in the digital dash, displayed a wrench and said, check owner's manual. Nothing was wrong in the manual. Talk about a wrench. What? Victor? Let me look up Victor's question. Let me go up higher if I can find him. Victor's talk. My 15 GT just had a wrench light come on the dash the other day. Calls were shut off at a stoplight. Clutch was depressed. It eventually restarted. Should I be concerned? Well, yeah, I mean, run codes. Do a check codes and see what codes are stored in the computer, and that'll tell you what's happening. Hatch knots, don't race boats. Can ID1300s work? Oh, shit. On the Gen 1 with a Whipple at 650 rural horsepower, is that too much injector at low power? I think it's okay. 1300s. Pump gas, it might be kind of a pain in the ass for drivability, but I think they'll work. Tampa for the win. Yeah, no, I'm good. I've been to Tampa. I'll pass on Tampa. If you ever visit South Florida, south of Port St. Lucie and north of Pompano, that's legit right there. That's so legit. The beaches, the food, that's where I'm at. Great vids and tried to send more money. Stop it. Recent 2017 Auto GT owner coming from a 750 rural horsepower Cobra. Would you get a Pro Charger or Whipple on a 17? Whipple. I'd get a Whipple over a Pro Charger all day. Bandy, Alex, Coyote swap it to a Fox body Mustang. Basic must-have suspension chassis mods. You got to stiffen it up. That car is going to be rowdy. So I would get subframe connectors. I'd get UPR or Maximum Motorsports complete suspension, or UPR K member, or Maximum Motorsports K member. A good set of springs, good set of shocks. You should be pretty good because the Fox body chassis is pretty proven. So you should be okay. I'm getting a divorce. He is getting a divorce. Keeps giving me money. Is Lund able to tune a 19 DT 10-speed auto with an SET tuner? Yes, absolutely. How much would you charge for a startup tune? Support at lundracing.com. All the prices are right there. Thanks, guys. I'll check out the codes. Help for the best. Victor got, okay, very good. Build Gen 1 or Gen 2 swap for 11 to 14. Gen 2, if you have the choice. Alex, have you done any tuning on Aussie Mustangs? Yes. Matt Coates, we tune most of his stuff. What do you think of Oscar Morin's shop car and El Toro? They're badass cars, dude. They fucking fly. So you can't really dog on his stuff. His stuff just straight goes, gets it. They're all 7-second cars, except El Toro, but he'll be there soon, I guarantee it. You took down your introducing your V6 Mustang owner video. That was the funniest thing I've ever seen. My back hurts one. You're right. That is by far my favorite video, and I just made it private because it's the funniest video I've ever made, like in history. There was like 7 jokes in the first. There was like 7 jokes in the first 2 sentences, but obviously people thought I was being homophobic, and you know how they do in this industry. They try to get you in trouble. I'm going to be checking out. I'm going to be leaving at 10:30 because I don't want to be on for too much longer than an hour. Yeah, I don't want to bore you guys, and obviously this will stay on and I'll let it repeat, but I'm going to leave at 10:30 p.m. Today because I got to get some sleep. I got to wake up and tune your cold air cars. Shannon Dugan, let's say the weight is the same and mods are the same, notch or hatch. Weight is the same and mods are the same. Hatch. I like how they look better. Notches are great, but they're kind of getting played out. Will a Gen 2.6 already fit a 2007 Mustang? Behind a Coyote? Sure. I think they will, but to make it work, is Skinny Kid race car still around? Yes, I think they are. 89 Fox body, 2,700 pounds. How much horsepower to make it fun? 400. 400 wheel, 2,700 pounds, low 11, high 10 second car, and tons of fun. Did Lund used to tune LSs? No, but they can. They can tune anything, really. They put their minds to it. There's just, we concentrate on Ford. You don't like... got a YOLO tune on my Gen 1 Pro Charger, 590 wheel, 11.215, need a driver mod. Yeah, solves it. Hola, Bicho from Australia. You have played with a bar motor yet? No, man. I'd love to get my hands on one, but there's like some kind of embargo or some shit on them things, but they're too expensive because for the money you can spend on a Barra, you can get a Gen 2 Coyote motor and make 800 wheel. Done. Jesus Christ, guys. Thanks for the money, but God damn it, stop it. Now I have to stay on longer if you keep giving me money. How much should you pay for a new GT with no options? New GT. New. 34 to 36, depending on the state you live in taxes and all that bullshit, with no options. I'm saying a basic bitch GT. I paid 38 for my 2019. What meth kit did you recommend? 89 hatch with YSI. Wow. Doesn't Snow Performance still make those? Snow or Alki? Alki, I think it's Alki Control or something like that. I think it's literally Alki in the name or Snow Performance. Honestly, it's all the same shit. It's more about the control system and what you're more comfortable playing with. So I would say look at both controllers and see which one makes it user friendly. 17 F-150 5.0 Whipple or VMP Gen 3? Well, if you use a VMP Gen 3, it tunes similar to a Roush, but yeah, I would say a VMP Gen 3 because it's a truck and you want the torque. How much power do you think I'll get from a Gen 1 D1X Pro Charge E85 2012 GT 18 manifold and upgraded O-pump gears and water meth? Holy shit. Why do you have E85 and water meth? Oh, for IAT, because it's a Pro Charger. Well, if you have a stock motor, 700, because that's what you're limited to. Who's your dream girl? Nanya asks. 1999 Sofia Vergara. Fuck, I mean, it doesn't get better than that genetically. 700 horsepower turbo Gen 1 safe on 85. Ooh, you're there. You're at that limit. You got to start going. It can go anytime. How much hate did you get for ruining Avengers on IG? I thought it was hilarious. I got a decent amount of hate. I thought that was funny because I was like, oh, hey, Tony Stark dies or Iron Man dies. And they were like, oh, fuck you. You know how many fuck you messages I got on IG? That was actually hilarious. Alex, what happened to supercharging the red car with compressed air? Oh, and thanks for dropping Mustang knowledge on us. Steel Magic. Yeah, that was interesting. So we looked up on the red car, supercharging it with compressed air. But I honestly don't want to. Who the hell's going to do that, right? Let's say if I go out there and say, I supercharge it on compressed air. Alex, where's the kit? Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to piece together a kit for you. So it'd be cool to do and get the views. But at the end of the day, if you can't like sell a product or market it, it's kind of useless. But we're looking into it. It's a very interesting concept. I hate her voice. You said dream girl. You didn't say dream girl that talks great. But I'm saying 1999 Sofia Vergara, not Sofia Vergara now. Now she's just annoying because she's an old broad with a shitty voice. How much PSI from a cordless leaf blower? I think like 2. When's the Vortec going on the white car? Next week, I think. Favorite movie car? The Wraith. Remember the Wraith? That was my favorite movie car because I'm old. Saludos desde la República Dominicana. ¿Ustedes tienen televisor allá? ¿Tienen electricidad? I basically asked them if they have electricity and TVs over there, making fun, but they're good, my people. Saludos, gracias. What kind of gravel does not spit up dust? This guy's just talking nothing but landscaping questions, so you guys can answer that shit. Michael Carvajal says, my question. What? Just keep asking the same question over and over. Don't say my question. I got a nice Colombian girl for you if you're interested. Yeah, I mean, is it your girl, Jamie? Look, I'm single as fuck, and I'm available. So don't be shy about sending numbers my way. But I need headshots. I need top to bottom shots, back shots, because I'm a buck guy, and we'll see what's up. Wraith was badass. Wraith was badass. That was such a fucking cool movie. Christine was a good movie too. Dodge Interceptor. I live in Massachusetts. Is Florida cheaper to live? I know you're from Mass. No, it's more expensive to live here. Well, I'll take that back. It's more expensive to live south of Port St. Lucie and north of Miami. Actually, south of Port St. Lucie, period. But if you want to live in Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, uh, Bithlo, Bradenton, it's probably cheaper to live there. But when you get there, you'll see why it's cheaper to live there. When you get here to South Florida, you'll see why it's really expensive to live here. You can't really explain it. You just have to see it. Was the Wraith a Probe GT? I don't know. I think it was like a kit car. It was just this one-off thing. It was cool. Wraith was a Turbo Daytona. That's it. God damn it, Tony, you're the man. He's probably my age. It's his wife. Oh, that's funny. Bring her on down. I'll take her. Have you tuned a 2019 Bullet yet? Yes, they tuned just like a 19 GT. No different. With all this cheddar you make, what are you talking about with all this cheddar you make? Joe Martin, I don't know. You got to keep asking the same question because I literally don't see the previous because it just flies by. What kind of Mexican are you, Alex? I'm not Mexican. My family's from Puerto Rico, but I'm more American than I'm more American than I am Puerto Rican. Like I have an American culture. I don't get anything Puerto Ricans are into at all. Not saying anything bad. I was just raised here, so. Too many bodies in Tampa. Yeah, I don't know. Too many bodies? I'm hoping you're the one to find my car. Put you in the notes. Here's hoping. Gotcha. I think he means tune your car. Literally just watched The Wraith. Not the same as when I was a kid. No, it's really bad now. It's just like Christine is really bad now. Some movies you can't rewatch, like Weird Science. And then that movie where Val Kilmer and that weird looking kid and Laszlo put popcorn in that house and the jet got it hot and it fucked up the house. Popcorn. Is it My Science Project? Or is that the one where the Chevelle had a time machine and was driving and it was like trying to beat the electricity so the time thing doesn't make it to the city, and the passenger, who was the same Indian guy from Short Circuit, was like, hit the blower, and he hit a button and a fucking supercharger turned on. Best scene of any movie, any 80s movies ever. Tampa is safer than West Palm. Probably because there ain't shit going on there. Max power on 85 LE 47 stock Coyote. 475, 480 with cams, whatever. Real Genius is the movie. Real Genius. Okay, thank you very much. Alex looks like he changes his oil with no shirt and bangs the hot thoughts in his building that drive 3 Series BMWs and have plump totos. You ain't kidding. How does he know? G Unit is Silk. G Unit is Silk City. I think he pegged me right there. What's your opinion on the best forced induction and why? Best forced induction. Real Genius was the Popcorn House. Thank you, Tony. In your opinion, what's the best forced induction and why? Forced induction, at the end of the day, you're going to make more power with turbos. What's the most fun? Superchargers. All day. Because you get power now. Well, positive displacement. Best street tire. That's such a broad thing. It's not even funny. Look, I said I was going to leave at 10:30 and it's 10:32. That's crazy. I'm the same. An Americanized Puerto Rican. I'm so sorry, Robert Figueroa. Remember, they would drink hydraulic fluid in the Wraith. Angelina Lopez. Who the hell's Angelina Lopez? That's not the bitch from Fast and Furious. I'm sorry, the girl from Fast and Furious. I lived in Royal Palm. There was a gang shooting outside the golf course community. That was it for me. Royal Palm is not West Palm, dude. Royal Palm is not West Palm. Please. How old are you when you lost your virginity? Angelina Lopez is a girl here. I was 13. Some neighborhood thought, older woman, she wanted to get it. I took my bike. I had a GT Performer from like 89. And I went up the stairs with it with my shoulder, put it on the side. Peace. Yep, 13. Then I didn't get laid for like another 10 years. Yeah, legit 13 in the hood. Crazy shit happens, you know. I was 1 block from Wellington, close enough. Wellington is not Palm. It's not Palm Beach. God damn it. Yeah, Angelina. Look. You got to do what you got to do. You know. Whipple of Vortec on a 2018 manual. Whew. If you want power now, it's hard to beat a positive displacement, but the Vortec will probably make a ton more up top. Like it'll never stop making power. So it all depends on where you want your power to be, up top or down low. Okay, I'm going to start saying goodbye to you guys. I'm going to end it real soon. So for all you guys that tuned in, I really appreciate it. If Angelina's single, she can hit me up and she can get it. The rest of you guys, I'll try to announce the next time I'm going to be live. Thanks for the 360 watching. Really appreciate it. And for those of you that donated, again, you don't have to, but thank you very much. We'll talk to you later. I got to get some sleep. Thank you.